Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Yes, this channel is about books and I have posted this channel as being how I quit alcohol, and it's relevant because the way I quit alcohol was with the help of a book. I'm sure many of you have heard of Alan Carr, The Easy Way of Quitting Alcohol. Well, he does the easy way of quitting a lot of stuff. I think he started off with the easy way of quitting smoking, but I read The Easy Way to Quit Alcohol, and it worked. Yeah, it actually worked. It took 3 attempts, but it's been successful. But let me just go back a bit. So my own history personally, without getting into too many personal details and boring you to death, I drank regularly. I drank every day. I've been drinking every day. Well, I started drinking as a typical Generation X. Well, I shouldn't say typical. I started drinking in my teens, and my family drinks, and having a good time, getting together with friends and family means drinking. That's how I was raised, and it continued into my adulthood. And yeah, I was, I think, a heavy drinker, and I quit. I've tried to quit multiple times and was not successful. And by multiple times, I would say maybe even like as much as once a week, I'd try to quit. Yeah, without success. So, yes, where was I? Yeah, so if I go back in time, I could tell you that for the last 15 years, I guess, 10 to 15 years, I've been drinking every day, as I said. And it got to a point where I decided, you know what, I'm getting older. There's health issues in my family. It costs a lot of money. It's not providing any service to me to continue drinking alcohol. And I just happened to try different things and look up different things. And that's when I came across Alan Carr's book, and I was able to download it as an audiobook. I tried it the first time and it wasn't successful because I got to a certain point in the book. Well, I shouldn't say that. So I borrow the books from the library and I get them for 21 days and then it expires. And so it's only, I think it's, I want to say it's a 6 hour book, 6.5 hour book. And I'd listen to it on my way to work, which is only a 15-minute drive, and on my way home. But what happened is it just didn't resonate the first time around. Perhaps I wasn't ready. And so I let it go. And then the second time around, again, I got to a certain point in the book where I don't want to give it away because I don't want to discourage anybody from trying this book. I got to a certain section in it and I said, yeah, no, this isn't going to work. Sorry about the noise. That's my cat playing. This isn't going to work for me. And so I just let the book expire. And then it was around Christmas time last year, I started feeling unwell. Heart condition, I have a family history of heart condition. I have a family history of high blood pressure. So I always have that in my head. And around Christmas time, I was starting to get heart palpitations. And from there, I did the mistake, I guess, of Googling symptoms of heart failure or heart attack or stroke. And it lists all these symptoms. And of course, I don't know, call me a hypochondriac, but because of that, I started getting all the symptoms, bad feeling in my arm, tightness in my chest, shortness of breath, all these things started happening, the heart palpitations. I checked my blood pressure. My blood pressure was quite high. Like at one point, I want to say it was like 170 over 110 or something ridiculous like that. So I said, you know what the hell am I doing to myself? Like, what am I waiting for? I drank a bottle of wine. I don't want to say a bottle every day, but I probably easily went through 8 to 9, even sometimes 10 bottles of wine in a week. Which is ridiculous now that I think of it. And I would never admit that. I would have never admitted that to somebody in the past. The camera's shaking because of my kitten. But now that I've quit, I'm admitting it. If it could help somebody else quit, I think it's important. So it got to a point where I was like, what am I waiting for? Am I waiting to have a heart attack? Am I waiting to have a stroke? And then, I have to depend on my family to take care of me, and my kids are still relatively young. And so, yeah. So the third attempt at listening to this book, I listened specifically to The Easy Way for Women to Quit Drinking, and it hit home. The time was right. I had health reasons, like I said, that I was concerned about, and I did it. Yeah, I did it. It'll be almost a year. Oh, well, it will be a year, December 26th. That's the day I quit last year, and I have had success. So it was, I think part of the reason that I drank is out of habit. That was a big one. The habit of coming home after work, having a glass of wine, making supper, having a glass of wine with supper, then maybe after supper, one more just to relax. And that was it during the week. On the weekends, it got a bit more heavier, the drinking. Never really drank to the point where I was drunk. And maybe that's because I just built up a real tolerance for it. My kids were also an inspiration, I have to say. My kids don't drink. They're in their 20s and they don't drink. So I was like, again, what the hell? Why am I doing this? It was costing me like money. I think I save now, I calculated, I save anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 a year from not drinking. That's huge. I mean, that's a lot of money. So that money's now going towards a savings, and my husband and I get to go on vacation a couple times a year now with that money, which is great. To each their own, and people have to quit drinking when they want to drink or continue drinking, whatever. My husband still drinks. And my family, I mean, my parents still drink, and family and friends, everybody still drinks but me. And I'm okay with that. I was concerned at first because I thought I'd be boring. I thought I would be bored and I would be boring and life wouldn't be fun anymore, which is a horrible thing to think. And I think that was probably one of the biggest challenges. That and your tolerance. I don't want to say it in a mean way, but you see things and notice things a lot more when you're with people who are drinking. And I'm not judging anybody, but I could tell that it's like, as a sober person, I could see now why sober people being around people who are drinking can get a little annoyed at times. But all in all, my husband still drinks, and I was perfectly fine with that. I was doing this for myself, and I think that's really important because I know I don't know of anyone who's actually been to Alcoholics Anonymous, but I think that one of the things that make people succeed if they are in those programs is that they need to disassociate themselves with other people who are drinking, because you'll be tempted. Well, with this book, I find that it made me realize that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, because this is for me, and it's made me realize that alcohol doesn't provide any real service. And quite honestly, if we're being honest with ourselves, it doesn't taste good. Now, I went months and months and months without drinking. I did enjoy wine. I didn't drink hard alcohol. I would drink beer. I enjoyed beer. And so my husband and I would still go to like brew pubs and what have you. We'd still go to restaurants and still have people over. I'd still buy wine for people. And I'd never judge people for drinking, because to quit drinking is very personal. And it's what I wanted to do for me. So lately, because we went on vacation in September, October, and I decided, you know what? I'm on vacation. And yeah, I'm fine. It had been 9 months by then that I hadn't drank any alcohol. So I said, I'm gonna have a beer. So we went out one time and I had a beer, and that was it. In the past, I wouldn't have been able to just have a beer. It would mean coming back home and having another beer too, and then maybe having some wine, but I was perfectly fine. The beer tasted good. It didn't affect me. The alcohol didn't affect me. And the beer actually tasted tasted good, but I was fine. I didn't need another beer. And then I had probably another time a beer. I even had like a mixed drink, like a margarita one time, and I was fine. I came back home and it's been October, beginning of October, November, like 6 weeks, 10, 8 weeks, whatever. I haven't had any drinks and I've been around people who've been drinking and I have zero desire to have anything. Once in a while, I'll buy some non-alcoholic beer, which is really good. Some of them are good, some of them are really crappy, but there's this German one that's really good. Anyways, all that to say, if you are considering quitting, good for you. And I would really highly recommend the Alan Carr, The Easy Way to Quit Alcohol, or The Easy Way to Quit Drinking. I did it again as an audiobook, which is great. The person narrating the book, I apologize, I don't know the person's name. I'll look it up after maybe and put it up here. It was wonderfully narrated. And do you need the one that's specifically for women? I don't know. It was quite similar. There's just a few things here and there that were specifically mentioned for women who drink alcohol. But yeah, please, if you have considered quitting alcohol, then I would 100% recommend this book. And it was a success for me. I've recommended it to other people. My husband started listening to it recently. We'll see. And my best friend, her and her husband read it, and they actually both quit. And that was in March of this year. And they too drank quite regularly, if not every day, like myself. And they did it. So kudos to them. And if you've had troubles with quitting alcohol and you want to give this a try, then please do. I think you'll be happy about it, and I think you'll be successful. So that's it for me. Good night, everybody.